So good morning. Happy Sunday fun day, everyone. I hope everyone remembered to put their clocks ahead last night, although it's kind of nice to, it's nice knowing that we're gonna have a longer day today, more daylight. I think that is fabulous. I know there's talks of changing that. I'm not sure I'm a fan of it or not. What do you guys think? Yes or no to daylight savings? Do you like the change? Do you not like the change? Because I know everyone's got a different opinion on it. So I'm a morning person. I live for sunshine, especially early morning. These darker mornings, even though we're going to have longer days, I actually prefer the daylight in the morning as opposed to the evening. So that's just my thought. But let me know yours. We're not here to talk about the time zone, though. We are here to learn some tips and tricks about stamping. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Trisha Shalo with Just for the Love of Stamping. And each Sunday, I bring you some fun tips and tricks using some of the fabulous products that Stampin' Up! Offers. Stampin' Up!, for those of you who maybe aren't not familiar, is kind of like a paper crafting company. The love of inks and rubber stamps and some photopolymer stamps, something we also call cling stamps. There's all kinds of fun stamps. And so I'm just going to show you how to incorporate some of the products that we offer with some cards. So again, today's session is geared a little more to the beginner. Maybe if you're someone that just needs a refresher, because I just have some fun tips and tricks about the watercolor pencils. So I will get started. As you jump on, please say hello. Let me know where you're joining us from. Like I said, we are going to talk watercolor pencils. Stampin' Up! Offers two kinds. We've got a 13 pack and a 10 pack. This is the assortment 2, which is the 10 pack. They come in this lovely box. The colors are all noted on the back. My favorite one in this one is Coastal Cabana. So if anyone's a Coastal Cabana fan out there, you're going to want to get your hands on these. Now, this is a brand new pack. I haven't opened it, so I'm going to share it with you just so you can see what it looks like. I love these pencils, and you'll see because they're actually all black. I don't know why. There's just something about black in color that makes it all pop. So the nice thing about these pencils is they also are all labeled. So, you know, if you're looking for a crushed curry color, you're probably looking for something yellow. Now, the color of this isn't popping out as being a bright yellow, so you might miss it. But thank goodness there's a label on there. I don't know if you can see that, but it actually says crushed curry. Yeah, sorry, that camera is not going to zoom in up there. But each of them are labeled. So that's a wonderful, wonderful thing about these. You'll know which color you're playing with. And so again, with Stampin' Up!, one of the benefits is that all of the paper, all of the inks, all of the embellishments, everything coordinates with each other. And that's why having the name, the color name on these is fabulous. Okay, now that you know what they look like, now some of you out there might be complete artists and are used to using these watercolor pencils all the time. Maybe you remember trying them out in art class. So bear with me, I'm not a pro artist when it comes to these watercolor pencils, but I do love using them in crafts because it is super easy. So I wanted to share with you how I store them. So we sell these cases. This is kind of the large case. These are what stamp sets come in. So whether or not you've got a double stamp set or maybe the old wood ones, I pull out the case. There's a little insert for there. And what I've gone and done, and actually I probably should take it out so you can see so there's no reflection. What I've gone and done is colored each of the shades on a piece of paper. And then I did it again, but then I ran through it with a blender pen. And I'll show you those in a moment, just so I could get the look of both sides. And then I've also added the color. And this is just going to help me for easy reference. It's the color that I'm trying to look for when I'm working on a project. Now, one of the other things I'm working on is creating a template that I can share with all of you. And so if any of you own these, or maybe if you did own these, what I'd like to know is, would you actually appreciate a template made specifically for a case like this, or you could cut it and use it however you want, but would you like a template that's already got the words all written in and maybe some spots for you to do your own little coloring? If so, if I get enough interest, I will go ahead and finish creating that. And I'll also reach out to you so that you can get your own digital copy of it. Okay, so this is how I store it for easy use. Now, like I said, we've got the different assortment. So I wanted to show you, I've kind of kept them all separate here. This is the main pack. So the main pack comes with Real Red, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight. We've got Melon Mambo, Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, although this one says Coastal Cabana, but it looks like Bermuda Bay. So it's Bermuda Bay that goes in this one. I think the names got mixed up on those other ones I had. We got some rich raspberry, some Pacific Point, some Old Olive, Early Espresso, Basic Gray, Crushed Curry, and then Basic Black and White, your Whisper White. So all of those come in the other package. So you're going to want to get them because all of the colors coordinate differently. And then the pack that I just showed you, I'm going to add those to my case because this is how I store them. And then what's even better is like through different projects throughout the year, different kits Stampin' Up! Has, they also include some pencils possibly. So you might even have some that are duplicates from what's in the kit. You might even have some that are colors that are different that maybe were in colors. And so all my extras, I also just add into the kit just because I'm gonna wanna use them for something. So there we go. I've got all my pencils. And then because we're dealing with water in our pencil crayons, Stays On ink is the best ink to use with your watercolor crayons, only because it can resist the water when we're going to color on stamped images. So I'm just going to also add one of my ink pads in there so that they all store nicely together. It's going to pop on me because now I've got like extras. I only ever had one set in there, but if you've got the room, you'll play with your pencils. You'll know what room you have as to whether or not you can include that stamp pad. But I just like to have everything all together as one. Okay, so on to the next tip. I want to show you the different coloring tools that we have to use them with. So in order to make our pencils work, you can just use them like regular pencil crayons. And in fact, let's pull that up, something that you can see. So if you want to just color a certain square, you can just use them as regular pencil crayons and be done with it. But maybe you want to actually use them for watercoloring. And so then you're going to want some paintbrushes to use with your water. So you know what? You're just going to throw them in your box so that you have a paintbrush with you all the time. This one's a little big and longer and it doesn't fit. So we're going to leave that one out. Then we've got our aqua painters. These work really well too as our coloring tool. So I'm just going to stick one of those in there. Wink Stella. This is another brush end. For those of you that don't know what this product is, it's a glimmery shimmer brush that you can just coat over top of your projects. But it also makes a great blending tool that adds some glitter at the same time. So we're going to use that as well. And then I think this is the #1 tool that you need to use when you're coloring with your watercolor pencils is the blender pens. These are the best tool ever. And in fact, they have been a product Stampin' Up! Has had ever since I started 17 years ago. And so they very well could have had them longer than that. But I'm going to add those to my kit as well. They come in packs of 3s. You can split them up, keep one in your craft drawer, keep one somewhere else. I'm just going to tuck one in there for now because I think that's all I need. Again, just as a way to kind of store all my stuff in one spot. Okay, except I'm going to leave this open so that I can easily grab everything that I'm going to need. Okay, so we are going to start with watercolor paper. So like I said, some of you guys are extreme crafters, you have been painters, you've done this for a while. So you are pros at this and you really understand how to use this product. But some of us, you know what, we just like to stamp. And this is another fun way of coloring our images. Stampin' Up! Also sells some watercolor paper. It's called the Fluid 100. It's a beautiful, soft cotton paper, really thick so that it can absorb your water. And I just wanted to show you that there's 10 sheets that come in that pack. And so you can cut it down to whatever size you want, or you can utilize the full size, make some pretty framed art. I'm sure some of you guys have done amazing things with this. But I just wanted to quickly show you how to kind of use the different techniques. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick, let's do Rich Razzleberry today. And I'm going to use my paintbrush, but in fact, I'm going to actually use the thick paintbrush because that seems to have worked better. I've got myself a little bowl of water and then also just a paper towel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just color really dark. I'm making a background for my card. And so I'm just coloring really dark and then I'm going really light. That's all I've done. I don't need a whole lot. If I wanted it to be really, really dark up top and faded down, I could add like even more, but I think that's going to be good. So all I did is scribble. There's no technique to that. You just scribble. And so all I'm doing is dipping my brush into the water. And if you, depending on your brush, you might want to drop some of it off, but this actually doesn't really absorb a whole lot. So I actually need more than less on this. And then all I'm going to do is just brush. And I'm starting from the top and I'm going down, and you'll see why in a minute. So as I go down, I'm getting lighter and lighter to kind of get that ombre effect. And I just want to pull from the layer above so that I don't get one big glob of darkness. Now I need a little bit more water because that's not blending as nice as I want, but that's the great thing when you use watercolor paper is you can actually keep going back. And so because I'm at the top here, I've really made a mess because I made that really dark, but it's not blending as nice as I want. So I'm probably going to have to go over that a few times. And in fact, what I'm probably going to do is let this dry and then go over it again. But I need to wait for it to dry to do that. So let me just show you. I've got one that's dry. It's not the completed card, so I'll put the completed card up. But there it is in purple. So you can kind of see how it's dark at the top and it fades down. And it just makes a really beautiful color wash background. And then again in the Coastal Cabana. This one again got a little mucked up, not as clean. For you artists out there, I know you will do it beautifully. But again, this is just for a background in my card making. It's going to do fine. I want to show you what not to do. So this is a blob, Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana. And so this is like where you take the water and I'm just blending them kind of together sideways. I'm not bringing the color down to kind of give it the ombre effect. And I've got too much color here and not enough water. So having enough water is also very important. So just make sure that you either spritz the paper after you get the color on, or you use a lot of water with your paintbrush. So I do find this a little harder to use because I'm not an artist. I don't have the tips and tricks of using my paintbrushes and all the water. But like I said, for those of you who are, probably will perfect this. So because of this, I actually find this using my water and my paintbrush a little more difficult. But again, all depending on your creative artistic talents. So, like I said, I'll post those pictures after so you can take a look, but that's kind of with the paintbrush. Now, I wanted to highlight for you guys some paper techniques. So this paper that I'm going to showcase today is the True Love Designer Series paper. This is inside the January to June mini catalog. And these are the beautiful papers that are inside that pack. So it's all black and white paper, with florals, with checkers, with stripes. And I guess I could have got away with just one, but I was showing you both sides of it, I guess, so that I could fan it out like this. I love these stripes, these flowers, more detailed flowers. We got some polka dots. Anyway, so this is a DSP we're going to play with because this actually works really well for coloring, and especially with your watercolor pencils. I'm going to take some stripes, and I think for this one, I'm going to do some pink colors. So we've got some Melon Mambo, and we have some Flirty Flamingo. So I'm just going to color the Flirty Flamingo in the big stripe. And then I'm going to fill it in with the small stripes with the darker pink. Now, one thing I didn't share with you is you do want to make sure you have a pencil sharpener as part of your kit. I've got an old Stampin' Up! One. I don't know if anyone remembers those from years past. So because they do wear down, you're using them a lot, they're somewhat of a soft lead pencil. You just want to make sure you have that nearby so you can fill these in. So like I said, I'm filling it in. I'm not going to go through and color the whole card. I just want to get this going for you. And we'll do some Flirty Flamingo on this side. And then, so remember I said there's all kinds of different tools. Well, we're going to use the blending pen with this one. So the blending pen is a little bit moist. It's dual tip. And all I'm going to do is take this and blend it over. So I don't know if you could see that, how it went from like just looking chalky like that pencil to a beautiful smooth color. So I'm going to do that again with this. And just like that. So to clean your brush, all you do is brush it off until the color is gone. And now I'm going to go over top of the Melon Mambo to blend that in. Brush it off, blend it in, brush it off. So you get the idea? Now, I'll have to finish the pink card, but I have that done where I've done it with the yellow, the Daffodil Delight, and the Crushed Curry. Now, it's a little harder to tell. The Crushed Curry is a thicker stripe, and the Daffodil Delight is a thin stripe. So it doesn't showcase the difference as much on this card. But again, it's something fun and simple, a way to use your designer series paper for simple stamping. So we'll finish that up and I'll post the pink one as well so that you can see. Okay, so then just like the stripes, there's florals. And so you're gonna want to color some fun florals. I'm gonna color another flower just with some pink. Now, depending on the tool you're gonna use afterwards, you can either color in full, color it really dark because you're not gonna use any tools to blend it. You're gonna leave it like a pencil crayon look, and you can because that looks absolutely beautiful. But you may want to use that blender tool that I just showed you, the blender pen. Easy to clean, easy to smooth out the beautiful pencil crayon so that it's a smooth finish. And I'll just show you again here. So again, this is thin designer series paper. This isn't watercolor paper, and I think that's why I also love the blender pen so much, is because I'm coloring on designer series paper, a thin paper, and it's not warping or wrecking the paper. And that's because there's not tons of liquid. It's just kind of a soft brush that kind of folds in. Can you see that? So you can just color it as is, or you can color it and then use your blender tool. Again, clean it off like this. So let me show you those final products. So this is just pencil crayon. That's coloring with all the fun colors, and then just layered with some fun stamps and a little bit of that fun foil. Isn't that cute? So it looks beautiful, but then you can do the same card. I've changed it up a little bit with a little bit designer series paper, pardon me, some string, little butterfly in behind, but this I use the blender pen to kind of make it pop a bit. Now it's a little harder to tell here on the screen, but when I post the pictures, you'll see those differences, but those are super fun. And this is using that new In Bloom stamp set. I don't know if you guys have seen it. They've got fabulous words. I just love that. Happy birthday, you really are the best. Or this, congrats, you're so fancy now. I can't wait to make that as a congratulations card for one of my friends, if they ever get a promotion. No, I shouldn't say if, when they get a promotion. Okay, so those are fun cards. And then just like coloring this, there's some bigger flowers that I've used, and I've cut them out in circles. Now, usually we would color all on the actual paper, like we'd leave it big in color, but for these, I popped them out first. And you'll see why in a minute, because it's a technique that I'm gonna share. So same thing as I'm just coloring. The lighter you color, when you go to use your blending tool, the lighter the image, right? And the more crayon I put on it, the darker the image. And like I said, you can wait for it to dry and you can go back and add some more. And you'll see here in a minute. So I've just softly kind of finished those. But what I want to do is I want to darken where all those shadows are. So I am just going to go over again and I'm just going to make that dark. Okay. Just like this. So again, I am not an expert professional watercolor painter. This is just me doing my crafting and what I love. So pardon me if I'm using the wrong terminology. I do just want to share that I need to put all those disclaimers out there. But I did test this and it's absolutely beautiful. So remember how in the watercolor paper, I kind of showed you when we were blending how mucky it got when we blended all the colors together? Well, it's the same sort of thing here. What you're going to want to do is start where the lighter area is. We're going to try and avoid where I put all those darker images for now. And so we're just going to kind of color around all of that. I might brush off in between just to make sure I don't pull some extra dark colors in. See, because as I kind of get over here, those darker colors are sitting there. So I might accidentally lift that. So I'm just going to break it off. And again, this is the designer series paper, but this works the same way had I stamped an image. So now that I've gone in and done all the light areas, now you're going to go in and pull those dark ones from the side. And I'm just going to pull from the inside out to get those darker shades kind of pulling and abstract into the area. Okay, you guys see that? Now it's kind of hard to tell, but you can see that it's highlighted a whole lot more. And now I'm going to just use my Daffodil Delight to kind of get the centers colored because I think that'll be beautiful with a little bit of pop there. And because I'm using the same color, I was okay to do that without jumping over. Okay, so you see those spotlights? Whoops, I just gave it away. So that is the technique. So what I did now is I've just taken that beautiful black and white paper and done a spotlight effect. So what I did is cut out the paper, found a very similar image on the paper and punched that out to pop it up. So this is the image that's actually underneath here, but it's just a color pop. So you got black and white, pop it with color. It makes it look absolutely beautiful. Now, this is actually one of those techniques that I wanted to show you using the blender, or pardon me, the Wink Estella, and I messed up because I went and colored it all with its brush, but let me do that with this. So again, I just want to squeeze it, make sure my gel is all squeezed out, and then I'm just going to start blending right over top of my image. So same thing, it cleans just like the blender pen. You just brush it off to get the color off. And now this is going to be hard to see. Hopefully the pictures I post, you'll see it better, but it's a little sparkly and shiny. And that's from using the Wink Estella instead of my blender pen. So it's just another fun technique, but a way to get a little shimmery. Okay, so I hope you liked that. I think that's all the cards I have for you. I am going to post these. I didn't quite finish, but what I wanted to show you is this is thick cardstock that I used. I'm trying to make a fun rainbow tag to show you guys that rainbows can be made with all the products we have, even though we don't have rainbow stamp sets. There's different ways we can do it. So what I did is I took the pencil crayons, all the different colors, and then I went over this one with the blender pen to make it smooth, although it did still kind of curl my paper a little bit. See that? And now this one, I did the scribbles, and then I went over it with the aqua painter, the water brush. And then this is the look. And so they both actually somewhat curled the same. And the look itself, it's really hard to tell that there was much of a difference. So I just wanted to show you that. Although the tools usually have a different purpose, they can also have the same purpose. And so although I didn't try using the brush on the designer series paper, this is telling me it probably wouldn't have soaked through the paper as bad. It probably would be just like the blender pen. But I'll finish up those fun rainbow tags and show you what that looks like after. Anyways, okay, well, that's all the fun with watercolor pencils. I hope you learned some tips and tricks, and we'll go and give it a try yourself. Within the Just for the Love of Stamping page, when you do make some cards using your watercolors, please by all means find the post of where this Facebook Live is and share your cards underneath, because we'd love to see your creations. Thank you all. Have yourself a wonderful Sunday. We'll see you soon. Bye.